What's going on, guys? Victor coming back to you with another game case video. On this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what happens if Hyperspin suddenly decides to exit by itself, which does happen rarely, but in case it does, you'll know what to do and how to get back on the system and all that. So just like the other video, we got the laptop loaded up, USBs are in, we're going to load up Hyperspin. I always press the icon and I usually press enter on the keyboard. Let that load up. You can always cancel that by the first button. I'm going to lower it. Right now, we're using an Acer laptop. I'm very sure in the future the laptops might change. I'm going to try to, on a piece of paper, when you get your game case, I'll try to tell you how to do the volume combination. On this Acer laptop, it's actually the function with the arrow up and down to work on the volume on this specific laptop. Now this one with the whole like Hyperspin exiting on its own, it's a rare thing, but in case it does happen, I'm going to try to mimic it. It's really difficult to mimic it, but let's just pretend that Hyperspin does exit out on its own. Again, usually when it exits on its own, you don't get the whole like, are you sure you want to exit? No, it'll actually just go right back to the desktop. Let's just pretend all of a sudden we were in Hyperspin and now we're on the desktop. There's only one thing that you have to really do to restart Hyperspin. Now what happens is the computer knows that every time you run Hyperspin, it also runs another software called Joy2Key. So basically Joy2Key is a program that pretends that the arcade buttons and the sticks are actually keyboard inputs. Joy2Key. So once you load up Hyperspin the first time, automatically the Joy2Key program loads up on its own. That's just how I designed it. It's easier on your end. Now, if the system does happen to crash to the desktop, if you notice, once you pull up your bar on the bottom, that right there is the Joy2Key icon. So that again is the program that's running in the background. The best thing really is to right click on it and exit out of the program. So now that we got Joy2Key exited and canceled, on the toolbar you can see that there's nothing loaded up. I got my Hyperspin. I'm going to press enter and we're going to just show you again how it looks. As you can see, everything is functioning and all that. I'm going to redo this process and I'm not going to cancel Joy2Key, and you're going to see what happens when you don't cancel out. So as you can see, we do have still Joy2Key on the screen loading. Again, you can tell that because it's on the toolbar, and we have Hyperspin ready. I'm going to press enter, and here's the big thing that you're going to see. The arcade stick is not going to respond at all. See that? No skips. Essentially, nothing is going to make Hyperspin respond. Even if you try to use the keyboard, as you can see, nothing. So this is one common thing that some people run into, especially when they exit Hyperspin by accident, or if you get the error where it just suddenly brings you to the desktop. Again, right now you can see I can't do anything at all. Nothing happens. So what do you do in this state? When you're in this state where you forgot or you're stuck, all you simply got to do is press the Windows key. Once you press the Windows key, you're going to navigate to Hyperspin on the toolbar. You're going to right click on your mouse pad and you're going to click close window. Once you got the window closed, now you're going to go to your Joy2Key and also close window on that. Now you're back to normal, just like you regularly loaded up. You're going to load up Hyperspin again. And you're going to see that it works perfectly fine. See that? We're back in business. So now honestly, that is the only thing that I usually get from customers saying that there is a defect. It's not that big of a deal. Simply just exit out and all that.